The next thing you will absolutely need in your kit is a number of things to color with. Now I have I am a full-time body painter and makeup artist, but if you just want a little something to throw into your kit for face painting, if you want to face paint with water-based makeups, I would recommend this, this Wolf Brothers face paint palette. I've had this for a long time, so it's a little bit beat up here. But this is just the Wolf Face Art FX Essentials palette. And these are a wax-based face paint, so they're a little bit better for line work. If you wanted to get a face paint that is better for like laying down bases, I would recommend Krylon or Paradise by Mayron, or even Snazaroo. I stay away from Snazaroo because I just don't like them. I think they're a little bit cheap. But this palette is a great one to get if you just want to try out face painting. You're not sure about it yet, but you think, and if you don't want to be like a big crazy body painter, you just want to have a few face paints to color your prosthetics with, I would recommend this one. And these are just water activated, so you just spray each color with water, and then you're going to need some brushes to paint with, and that's all you need. I think these are also antimicrobial, so you don't have to worry that much about sanitation. You should still care about sanitation a little bit, but they're a little bit more forgiving in that sense. Some other stuff you'll definitely need is some cream makeups. I have a ton, actually. I have this injury stack from Spirit Halloween. I also have this primary fun color stack from Spirit Halloween. I have two Ben Nye injury wheels. I think this one's the Burns and Blisters. This one's the Master Bruise injury wheel. I actually love this one the most. This is just like a stack that I got from Ben Nye, and these are great special effects colors. This one's called Capillary Stipple, which is great for making fake capillaries. This one's called Freckle Stipple, purple, just purple for like veins and stuff. Vein, this like blue one, and liver spot, this like brown one. And these are really handy for making some realistic effects. Cream makeups are really good. And I also have, of course, the Holy Grail, the Makeup Forever Flash palette. These are super pigmented and so creamy and easy to blend. Cream makeups are really great because they are extremely realistic, and they're forgiving in the sense that you have a long working time with them. You can blend them to be the way that you want. You can take them away, you can add, and you can really manipulate the paint as long as you need to, until you get exactly the look that you're going for. And then once you're done, you can set them with a neutral setting powder. And say you want these cream makeup paints are too thick for you, you can actually water them down with some petroleum jelly too. You can thin them out. So cream makeup paints are really fun, and I recommend them. Everybody should have them in a kit. They're especially great because even if you're somebody that loves alcohol-based paints, which I know most professional makeup artists love them, you can't use alcohol-based paints around the eyes, and you can use these around the eyes. So I recommend those for that. Another thing for your kit that comes in super handy is some glycerin. I just have this big old bottle from FX Warehouse. What this is good to use for is you put it in a bottle of water, like a little sprayer, with a little water mixed in. And if the glycerin isn't too thick, you might not even need to mix in some water. But it's great to create like a sweat effect, which if you're a full-time special effects artist, you're gonna be asked to do a sweaty person sooner or later. If you're a full-time special effects makeup artist, I think sooner or later you're gonna have to get this next item, which is a alcohol-based paint palette. I have a number of them in my kit. This one is by the brand European Body Art. This is the Special Effects Colors one. There's a bunch of primary colors in here. There's also flesh blood color, dry blood, bruise red, mauve for like irritation and stuff. And this is the first one that I bought. And then I bought a bunch more because you can't just get one. These are a great investment because they don't go bad so fast. Like my liquid latex dries up eventually, but this does not go bad. I also have another one. This is also by European Body Art. This is the Encore Skin Light and Adjusters palette. And these are just light skin colors with some adjusters mixed in. This is really helpful for blending in wound effects into the rest of the skin. I also have another palette by European Body Art. These are great because they also come with a little palette, which is very essential to mix with. This is the Undead palette, I believe it's called. Yeah, this is the Undead edition. And I can't make zombies without this palette anymore. These are really great colors for making undead people. I use this blue one for veins. I like to white out the zombies with these two colors out here. They're nice, like sickly dead white pale colors. You know, the dirty brown for like the hollows of the cheeks. This is an aged blood for like zombies are probably gonna have, they're not gonna have fresh wounds, they're gonna have old crusty wounds, so you're gonna need some old blood colors for that. That's a great palette. One of my favorite alcohol palettes that I dip into all the time is the Skin Illustrator Howard Berger palette. This is such a well thought out good palette. You know, I have all those great European Body Art palettes, but I dip into this one all the time. These skin colors work for most people. This is such a good, like, catch-all, don't have to think about it. Dark blood color, this is like a great flesh blood color. This is a great irritation color, and some great adjusters in here as well. This is a great vein color. I use this palette all the time. It's amazing. If you can only buy one palette, I would probably recommend this one because this is such a versatile palette, and it's small and it's a little bit cheaper than the others. Like these bigger palettes retail for I think about 80 bucks. This one's $55, and it's smaller, but if you're just playing around with them, you want to try it out, I definitely recommend this one. That's the Skin Illustrator Howard Berger palette. I have a couple more alcohol-based palettes in here too. This one's by Jourdain Cosmetics. This one's the Battered palette. I bought this at IMATS. I told them about all the alcohol-based palettes that I already have, and I asked them if there's one they recommend I should get, and they told me to get like a blood palette, and they were right. It really kind of helps you understand blood a little bit. You know, there's different types of blood in here. There's oxygen blood, so it's like uber extra fresh blood, and this is actually great to add to blood colors to freshen them up, to make them look new and fresh. There's post-mortem, so that's like a dead person blood. Cold blood, irritation. It's not enough to just color in your wounds. You're going to need to color in the area all around the wound to make it look like it's a little bit distressed. So irritation's great for that. Rash is also great for that too. And these primary colors down here, this is like a dark purpley reddish black. So if you have a wound that you just want to darken up, this is great for that. And blue and yellow actually come in handy a lot. Yellow is great for making it look like an infected wound, and blue is great for making it just look like a darker, more bruised blood. So this is a very handy palette as well. For all of the alcohol-based palette, you're going to need a activator. This is a 99% alcohol activator. And it is just the one from Skin Illustrator, but I also have a giant backup bottle of just 99% alcohol. Here it is. This is just 99% alcohol. Well, you can't buy this at the the store. I have to buy this online. I bought this one, I think, from Beer&Beauty. And these are also great for sanitizing all your makeups as well. You need 99%. Anything less will not get these palettes to work. And these are also very strong sanitizers for your makeup as well. I have one more alcohol-based palette that I haven't dipped into yet. This is a Tooth Effects palette. This is really a lot of fun for what you do is you have to get your actor to dry off their teeth with a tissue, and you can just paint on top of their teeth. You can block out a teeth with using the black, or you can just dirty them up with one of these brown colors, make them look just yellow and distressed, or just browned and filled with cavities like coffee. These are a lot of fun. And once in a while, I think they will become totally handy too. Another fun thing to throw into your kit that comes in handy once in a while is this stuff called Rigid Collodion. It comes in this little tiny little vial. What it is, it's a medium that you brush on to the face or onto the arm, and the areas you paint it on constricts the skin and makes it look like a scar. And then you can color it to make it look more irritated and make it look more like a realistic scar. The problem with this stuff is that it's actually you can only use it once in a while. You can't use it repetitively because it can lead to real scars and it's not very good for your skin. But it's fun to just experiment with once in a while. Something that's absolutely essential to have in your kit that you can't avoid is some brushes. I actually have so many brushes. These are my face painting brushes, but I sometimes use them for my special effects kit as well. These are just like flat brushes, some bigger brushes, but I also have a number of rounds of face painting brushes just to get into like little cuts and stuff. Like, you don't want to use your nice brushes on your special effects kit because they can get ruined. For like little areas, I find that if you use your alcohol-based palette with your nice like face painting brushes, you can just clean them with alcohol and then clean them with soap and water afterwards, and they'll be fine. But you got to be diligent about it. I also have a set of old like crappy brushes that I wouldn't recommend using really expensive nice face brushes in your special effects makeup kit. I actually got this a long time ago when I first became interested in makeup, just brushes to practice with, and I found really early on that these brushes suck. Like, this whole thing, it seemed like a cool deal because it came with a brush and 30 brushes and it was only 30 bucks and it was great. But these brushes shed like crazy and they're not very soft. But it's not a total waste because I decided to use them in my special effects makeup kit, and it's great. Like, I'm picking this because it's shedding like crazy, and it's great because they're cheap brushes that I hate. I don't have to worry about ruining them. I haven't ruined them yet. And I have a few Morphe brushes in here because they're just brushes that I don't really care about. Here's a Morphe brush. They shed a little bit too. This one's actually in good shape. But these are mostly just brushes that I don't care about, and I use them for laying down powder. A few of them I actually use for painting with my alcohol-based paints. Like this one had a little bit of alcohol-based paint on it, and they just get a little stiff, but they can still hold on to it. And I have a single one of my spatulas in here. But yeah, just have like a set of brushes that you don't really care about to use in your special effects makeup kit. This isn't essential to have in your kit, but it does come in handy once in a while. I met a makeup artist when I was visiting New Orleans a while back who said, I was asking her about her career and like what kind of work she does, and she says that for the past year she was doing mostly dirt work, which means just making exactly what it sounds like, making people dirty. I have a couple of different types of fake dirt. This is Texas dirt powder, which is like a kind of reddish looking dirt. I don't know if I should open it up and show you. It's just like a reddish looking dirt. And this one's from Mayron, obviously. I also have the Jordan Body Dirt. This is just like it looks just like how it is in this container. And this one is Mayron charcoal powder. It's just black. You know, you want to have fake dirt. You don't want to use real dirt because real dirt is dirty and it's not sanitary. So these are a little bit more sanitary. And a fun thing about these is that you can say your prosthetics on the face didn't come out perfect for like a zombie that you made or what have you. You might want to just add a little bit of dirt on it and cover it up, and it looks distressed and it looks like you did it on purpose. So nobody has to know that you made a mistake. Something really important is that once you're done with all the makeup, you are going to want to set it. So you want to have a setting spray. This one's a really good one. This is Ben Nye Final Seal. I've had it forever. As you can see, it's a little bit distressed. The label's coming off. But this will help your makeup stay on. A few other things that it will be absolutely handy to have in your kit. A few eyeshadow palettes I find for me to be really helpful. These are the ones that I usually put into my kit whenever I do special effects. I like to have a neutrals palette. This one's just by Sonia Kashok. This one's really great because it has all the neutrals like that you can need in it. Just in case, I like to bring the Morphe 35W palette, which is just like a warm neutrals palette. And there's so many colors in here, so I like to throw that in there, and it's not very expensive, and you don't need fancy expensive shadows. So like if you needed to add a little bit of soft shading to a look, some eyeshadows would definitely help you out with that. I also like to carry in my special effects makeup kit, I have a full face paint kit, and then I like to throw in a couple shadows. This is the 35B by Morphe. One Halloween I brought this to every special effects makeup gig I did, and it came really in handy. It's nice to have like a good rainbow palette to throw in. And the last one is a Crown Brushes palette, which looks just like some of the Morphe palettes, but this one has even more fun colors. I think this might be the only one I might even need because you've got a bunch of like neutral colors around the edges here. But yeah. These are fun to have, and this one's also got some mirrors and stuff in it too. But it's good to have a couple of disposables in your kit too. This is my little pretty little bag that I keep my disposables in. I have a couple pointed Q-tips to apply blood with or apply latex with, and there's also some like mascara wands in here, which are great for like stippling on blood. And just also picking up fallout. Say you have some fallout of like eyeshadow and stuff that you don't want there, or like dirt. You can pick it up with some disposable mascara ones. Those are great for that. I think the last thing I'd like to mention is, you know, I talked about alcohol-based paints and face paint and eyeshadows, and cream makeup paints, but I didn't talk about airbrush makeup, which I think is actually oftentimes the best route, because especially if you're like looking for a haunt and you need to work quickly, or if you're doing full body looks, if you're just working with a ton of actors, like a zombie scene, it's good to have airbrush makeup. I have to shake these up. These are really old. I like to use primarily a Mayron liquid makeup, and I just add a little bit of water or Liquicet and just thin them out and run them through the airbrush and do makeup like that. I have lots of colors. I have yellow. I think I just have black, white, and primaries. So here's black, white, red, yellow, green, and blue. And then I think I have several airbrushes from all different brands, but I think that one of the best ones that I use for airbrush makeup is either the Temp2 one or the Iwata Eclipse. And I have a full airbrush system. That might be another video where I talk about the airbrush system. Airbrush is great to use in special effects, especially because prosthetics that you might have made on set that aren't fully dry, you can't fully paint until they're dry. You can combat that by having a hairdryer, which I have, but I didn't bring it out here. But if you don't have time to dry it off, you can paint on top of it using airbrush, and you don't have to wait for it to dry. It can all dry together. It's best if you wait for it to dry, but if you can't, if you don't have that kind of time, you can use airbrush paints. So those are the liquid water-based paints. I also have, these are really old. I haven't used them in ages. This one I think is dried up because it was mostly empty anyway. But these are the Mehron Luxe makeups, and they're just water-based, professional, like these liquid makeups aren't meant to be put through an airbrush, but they can be, and a lot, like, it's actually really common for them to be used that way. But these are actually formulated to be used in an airbrush, these Luxe paints. I don't know if these are still on the market, actually. They're pretty old. Another airbrush makeup paint that you can use are the Pro Air makeup paints. They're alcohol based, so you're going to need alcohol to clean out your airbrushes with after. Whereas with the Mehron liquid makeup, you can just use water. And you don't want to use both types of paint during the same job. You're going to have to clean your airbrushes in between because water and alcohol don't mix. These are fine, and they're great because they are very long lasting, and you can paint areas like the armpits that like sweat. It gets them to stay very long, but they do have a problem with clogging airbrushes sometimes too. Pro Airs are really fun to have, not just for airbrushing, but you can also just dip right into a brush and paint with them just using regular brushes. This is my little palette that I like to use with my Pro Air paints. I just as you can see, there's sprayers on them, so I just spritz them into one of these wells and I paint out of the wells. And they're very expensive, so if you only want to use as much as you think you're going to need, and then you can a bottle of alcohol, you can reactivate these paints if they're starting to dry up too. So Pro Air is fun for that too. Other things I want to mention before I go that aren't fully essential, but they're fun. This is some just KY jelly. What this is good to use for is you can add a little bit of either like flour or baby powder or some zinc oxide and some food coloring like yellow, and you can make pus out of them. So if you wanted to make a wound that looks really like infected and you want to throw on some pus, or say you're making an alien mutant that's really pussy, make that concoction with cornstarch or baby powder or flour and KY jelly and food coloring, and you can make some really gross looking pus. The last thing that I have in my special effects makeup kit is some fake hair. So if you're a little bit more serious than me, you might want to get them in every color, but I just have the black, and these are great to make fake beards with, or like a crazy hairstyle on top of a bald cap or whatever, and these are fun to have too. Alright guys, thanks for sticking with me. I think that's actually everything. That is my complete makeup kit. I hope you learned something. I hope you enjoyed watching this. Any questions at all about anything I mentioned in this video? If you wanted any specific recommendations on how to combat some of the problems I presented, or how to use any, or if you wanted a specific tutorial on how to use any of these products, just leave them in the comments down below, and I will get back, I will answer them. I'm still, a new channel, so I'm sure I'm going to have time to answer all your questions. But yeah, make sure to give this video a thumbs up if you liked it. Share it with your friends who are building a special effects makeup kit or are planning to do a really all-out Halloween costume. Ask my advice. Book me. I can do your makeup if you're from New England. And if you have any questions on how to use any of this stuff at all, leave your questions down in the comments below and I will answer them. Be sure to like this video and leave a comment. And also check me out on Instagram and Facebook and Twitter. I'm currently running a 31 Days of Halloween project on my Instagram, so be sure to check that out. I use a lot of the stuff that I used here today. So yeah, thanks for watching this video. Have a happy Halloween and a happy Friday the 13th, and thanks for stopping by. See you next time.